एक मिनट रुक जाओ, रेडी होने दो। चलो ये कर लेते हैं। दिस कुड बी अ ग्रेट इंट्रो।
Hi, I'm Akshay.
Hi, this is Saurabh, and you are listening to the Founder Thesis podcast. We meet some of the most celebrated startup founders in the country.
And we want to learn how to build a unicorn.
Hi everyone, hi Akshay. I'm Sambhav. I'm the co-founder of FAMPay.
Have you heard the term Gen Z? It refers to people born in this millennium, currently in their early teens to young adulthood. The last generation of great tech companies like Google and Facebook were born when the parents of Gen Z were adults. And now there are a new generation of tech companies who are catering to Gen Z. One such pioneer is the fintech startup FAMPay. FAMPay is a combination of a fintech startup and a social media platform, and it is on fire. They have been growing like crazy, and just a few months ago, they raised their Series A funding of a massive $38 million. This is the highest ever Series A fund raised by a first-time founder, and FAMPay's founder and CEO, Sambhav Jain, is one of the youngest founders we've ever featured on the show, and he takes us through his journey of building up FAMPay and making it into the massive success that it is today. Here's Sambhav telling Akshay Dutt about this wonderful journey.
Okay, cool. So, Sambhav, where did you grow up? कहाँ से हो आप?
I'm from Chandrapur. It's a small town near Nagpur in Maharashtra, and I was born and brought up here. मैंने अपनी schooling यहीं से की, and yeah, like everyone, like being from a small town, there was not a lot of exposure. Um,
What did your dad do? What's your family background?
my father is a civil contractor, so he takes tenders and contracts for, let's say, road construction and all of that. Um, so yeah, like everyone, तब पता नहीं था, बस aspiration ये था कि we have to go to like one of the best colleges in India, and I was quite curious about science since the beginning. It was not like कि I was good at maths and science तो ले लिया. I was always curious about it. So yeah, IITs were the only option. Like जिससे भी बात करो, like 10th के बाद सब थे कि you should prepare for IIT and all of that. Um, so yeah, that is where the journey began. I moved out of Chandrapur.
How big is Chandrapur? Is it like Pune size or
No.
is it like?
It's a district. It's not a village, but yeah, you can consider tier 2, tier 3. Um, Smaller than Nagpur, of course, much smaller than Nagpur. But a peaceful city hai.
Okay. Were you like a movie buff growing up? Like besides studying, what all did you like to do?
Definitely, like I used to watch a lot of content, and बचपन में तो it's more about just Bollywood, and उस time पे तो there was no Netflix, Prime Video, there was no OTT, so whatever used to come on the television, we used to watch that. Um, but if I go back to school days, like sixth, seventh, eighth, like the early teens, in my early teenage, I was very curious about most of the things. So I was actually a lot into dancing. So I did not. So I used to just learn from watching videos, watching TV, and just trying to copy the Bollywood moves and all. So I was quite into dancing, and school ke har event mein I used to do that. And so actually, in a lot of cultural things, because my mom was also quite keen, so she put me into tabla classes and all of that.
Okay. So you were like pretty confident of being on stage. I mean, dancing needs a lot of confidence. So obviously you must have been on the more confident side of the spectrum.
Yes. I think since the childhood only, I have been more of an extrovert and social person. I was never afraid of talking to new people. I used to make friends, and I always used to hang out in groups in schools. So yeah, definitely that introvertism, and that was not there. I've been social. since the childhood.
तो अर्ली टीज में क्या सपने थे, मतलब कि डिड यू थिंक कि यू विल बी अ स्टार्टअप फाउंडर? ऑफ कोर्स वो स्टार्टअप वर्ड तो उस टाइम पे शायद
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, स्टार्टअप वर्ड तो नहीं पता था.
हाँ, हाँ,
डेफिनेटली ऐसा तो, इफ आई लुक बैक, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द वेरी अर्ली टीन्स, तो कुछ कुछ एम्बिशंस थे कि हाँ, आई वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टेड इनटू ऑटोमोबाइल्स, कार्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. तो तब तो ऐसा रहता था कि कोई कार कंपनी होनी चाहिए खुद की, एंड विल मेक द मोस्ट सेक्सीएस्ट कार्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. तो इट वाज मोर अराउंड बिजनेस. बट या तब पता नहीं था कि एक्चुअली it means that I will have to become a businessman and all. But as education proceeded, तो मैथ्स और साइंस की तरफ ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट बनने लग गया. And yeah, I think by the time I grew, it was more about just learning new things and exploring what's out there. In 10th, 11th, 12th, so I was like, कि हाँ, we have to, if I have to change my fate, I have to go to the best college in India, and that was like IITs in our mind. um, तो तब बस यही था कि यार हाँ, अभी बहुत लिमिटेड एक्सपोजर है. आई डिड नॉट इवन, आई थिंक, अंडरस्टैंड द एक्चुअल मीनिंग ऑफ what that exposure could be. But I was like, I have to explore things, right? There's nothing in this town that I can learn. So yeah, after that it was more about let's explore what's out there. And college जाने के बाद ही ये startup entrepreneurship वाला words पता चले. And even I think by the end of third year, fourth year, I did not really think that I'll be a founder right out of college. I probably would have imagined it like a few years down the lane, but didn't imagine it to be right out of college.
तो IIT का एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा, मतलब was it like very very transformational coming from a small town? Yes, how, what was like, give me the highlights of those 4 years.
Yeah, college has been one of the best 4 years of my life. I think definitely IIT, going to IIT was quite transformational on looking at things very differently, getting exposure, understanding what startups are, what the world is out there like, right? तो फर्स्ट ईयर से ही ये तो चलती कि यार बहुत कुछ करना है. तो कॉलेज जाते ही इन जस्ट द सेकंड थर्ड वीक of college in our first year, I contested in the hostel elections and got elected. तो वो पूरा एक महीना, तो कॉलेज के 2-3 हफ्ते बाद ही पूरा एक महीना went into campaigning and getting into all of that. So fortunately, वहाँ पे I got elected as the social and cultural secretary of my hostel. And simultaneously 11 12th में dancing वांसिंग काफी छूट गई थी. तो I there was a dance club at IT Roorkee. I joined that. So ऐसे करके काफी चीजें की, and even through 4 years of college, have experienced a lot of things. And then 2 years later, in the whole campus elections, I contested again as for the post of general secretary hostel affairs. I got elected, and that experience had been like very different. Being in college and पूरे 8,000 बच्चे वोट करते हैं उसमें, the whole starting from the whole election process to getting elected. And in that 1 year there were so many initiatives that we did, uh, right, for the college. So काफी different experience था. And that is when me and Kush actually worked on a product together. So while we were in college in our third year, we built an app which is called Appetizer, and it is the official messing app of IIT Roorkee. So the problem was very simple कि जितनी भी hostels हैं, सब में messes की fee semester के starting में ही एक बच्चा pay कर देता है, and then they can have meal for the whole semester, right? It doesn't matter whether you have it or not, you have paid for the whole semester. But what usually used to happen was कि बच्चे messes में खाते नहीं थे. Of course, they used to go to the canteens a lot of times, and seniors से party लेते थे. रुड़की में we called it chapo. They used to they used to take treat from seniors. There was a culture. And so the product was very simple. What you could do is download Appetizer, and once you log in using your intranet IDs, you वी वुड गेट एक्सेस कि बच्चा कौन से ईयर का है, कौन से स्ट्रीम में है, कौन से हॉस्टल में रहता है एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली दे कुड सी द होल वीक्स मेन्यू, like breakfast, lunch, dinner for the whole week, and they could skip whichever meal they wanted just by a click of a button. तो हर एक मील के आगे एक एक टॉगल दे देते थे, एंड उसको तुम टैप करके यू कैन जस्ट स्किप द मील. सो हमने इसके लिए पूरा एक यूजर साइट बनाया था बच्चों के लिए, एंड एक एडमिन साइट बनाया था फॉर द मेस सेक्रेटरीज, मेस मैनेजर्स, डीन्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, हु कुड अपलोड मेन्यू वीकली बेसिस पे, एंड बच्चे आपके थ्रू फीडबैक दे सकते थे सीधा सीधा कोई मील पे. तो उस टाइप की चीजें बनाई थी. एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट वाज फॉर वॉट एवर मील्स यू स्किप्ड, you used to get money back for it. So this was the first product that we built together, and it had a great impact. So
And look, tell me about Kush. Like, who is Kush, and how did you guys meet?
so Kush is again, I would say, a very passionate guy, and Kush comes from Ludhiana. He's a Punjabi. So yeah, he's very passionate. He's into fitness. He's into cooking, एंड उसके भी काफ़ी बढ़िया किस्से हैं. तो फर्स्ट ईयर में वी मेट इन द फर्स्ट कपल ऑफ वीक्स, एज आई मेंशन कि इलेक्शंस में हम कंटेस्ट कर रहे थे. सो so when I contested, of course, I went to Kush and Ayush. Ayush is also from Ludhiana, and he's the first person to join the team. Right, he's from the same batch. So both of them are from Ludhiana. से वो भी दोनों production and industrial में थे, and what we did was, so during the elections, of course, we went for the support and everything. कि campaigning में help करो. We need to get all the votes from your branch and all of that. So that is when we met.
So ये एक ऐप से वो business partnership कैसे हुई? Like, how did you think of that you want to do a startup together?
It was quite accidental. So what used to happen was, obviously हमने first year के बाद से ही थोड़ी चुल थी कि अलग अलग चीज़ें ट्राई करनी है, एक्सप्लोर करनी है, तो इंटर्नशिप्स करना शुरू कर दिया था. एंड again, we had interned at multiple startups. Like I interned at Revigo, some early stage startups like Eon Learning, and then Hotstar. While Push interned at startups like 1MG, ShareChat, V Street. So and हमने अलग अलग रोल्स में, प्रोडक्ट रोल, मार्केटिंग रोल, बिजनेस रोल, ऐसे अलग अलग रोल्स में इंटर्नशिप्स की थी. So after the first internship only, like I think it's similar story for both of us. We got clear कि यार learning तो startups में ही है. So the kind of impact you're able to bring, the kind of ownership you get, right? वो exposure अलग ही था. So like कि अब internships तो startup में ही करनी है, तो throughout the campus life, I think हमने campus internship के लिए apply नहीं किया, though there were a lot of companies, the dream companies which came to the campus, like giving great stipends, right? Giving a great social status within the campus and all. हमने उसमें कभी अप्लाई नहीं किया. इवन वी डिड नॉट इवन थिंक ऑफ अप्लाइंग, राइट? वी यूज्ड टू अप्लाई ऑफलाइन, just mail the different startup founders to get the internship. So yeah, throughout the college life, it was very clear that startups, it got like clear कि startups is where all the excitement is, and वहाँ पे learning and growth fast होगी. So by the end of final year, I was like, I want to join an early stage startup and not an MNC or not a big company. And Kush was like कि मेरे को start करना है. So both of us like did not pursue placements actively, right? So final semester में बहुत time होता था. Most of the time went into just discussing. I used to keep on finding different startups and just go to him and I was like कि ये startup कैसा लग रहा है? What do you think about the team? What do you think about the product? And he used to come up with two ideas, कि ये idea कैसा लग रहा है, ये idea कैसा लग रहा है. Like a few days later, I also started going with two ideas to him कि प्रॉब्लम रियल लग रही है, आई फेस दिस प्रॉब्लम, सो यू कैन थिंक समथिंग अराउंड दिस. तो ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करते थे, बस बहुत कैजुअल. इट्स जस्ट लाइक टू फ्रेंड्स हैविंग अ चैट इन देयर हॉस्टल रूम्स. सो व्हाट हैपेंड वाज, एज प्लेसमेंट्स केप्ट ऑन गेटिंग क्लोजर, हम अपने फ्रेंड्स की हेल्प कर रहे थे टू क्लियर द टेस्ट, इंटरव्यूज एंड ऑल, राइट? तो ऐसे काफ़ी सारे फ्रेंड्स थे जिन्होंने कोडिंग करना शुरू कर दिया था, जिन्होंने 3-3 साल से कोडिंग नहीं की थी. I just started preparing for that. So when we asked him कि bro, why are you coding? I know you don't like it. तो आंसर मिलता था कि भाई ये इतने लाख की नौकरी है, ये लग जाएगी, लाइफ सॉर्टेड है, राइट? दैट्स द टिपिकल रिस्पॉन्स वी यूज्ड टू गेट। एंड वहाँ पे हमारा एक बार ऐसी कोई डिस्कशन हुआ, वी कुड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड लाइक हाउ इज योर लाइफ सॉर्टेड if you're not looking at different factors while thinking of a job, right? There are so many factors. सीधा देखते थे कि कंपनी का पैकेज कितना है, एंड बाकी सब चीजें भी सेकेंडरी है, लाइक टाइटल वाइटल भी सेकेंडरी है, बट पैकेज अगर अच्छा है तो फिर पीपल वर इवन रेडी टू गो इन माइंस इन आसाम बिकॉज दे लर्न 30 lakhs। तो हमें समझ नहीं आया कि यार लाइक आईआईटी में तो इट शुड बी लाइक वन ऑफ द स्मार्टेस्ट किड्स इन इंडिया, एंड स्टिल ऐसा ऐसा थॉट प्रोसेस क्यों है? व्हाई आर दे जस्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट मनी एंड नॉट द अदर थिंग्स, राइट? लिटरली लोग प्रोडक्ट भी नहीं देखते थे, जिस कंपनी के लिए प्रोडक्ट रोल के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हैं वेबसाइट तक खोल के नहीं देखते थे। दे वर लाइक कि हाँ ये इतना दे रही है, सीधा अप्लाई कर दो पहले, वैसा वैसा था। तो लाइक व्हाई इज डिसीजन मेकिंग दिस वे? So we realized they were just looking at money as the primary factor, and money for them was important, of course, but money was becoming the bottleneck to take the right decision. That is how we thought about it. So we just started thinking around it कि ऐसा क्यों है? Why is this mindset? Right? So though earning more money in the short term is nice, no denying that, but in the long term, it's not fruitful if you're just taking a decision basis on money, because 1 year later, you won't be the one who's getting promoted, who's growing, who's feeling a learning curve, right? Because you're just thinking about कि हाँ कैसे जाके means months का पैसा आ जाता है, you're getting into a comfort zone every day, going to the office, not doing actual work, and 1 year later you start figuring out now what to do, what's next for me, because all your peers are growing. So now you go back to step one, ki should I do MBA to switch my career, or what should I do, right? And that's a major problem, I think, with everyone. So हमारा इसके अराउंड डिस्कशन हो रहा था, एंड वी केम टू अ डिस्कशन वेयर वी वर लाइक कि यार इंडिया में नो वन टॉक्स अबाउट मनी द वे इट शुड बी टॉक्ड अबाउट, राइट? लाइक सिंस द चाइल्डहुड, लाइक बी इट बैंक्स, बी इट स्कूल्स, बी इट पेरेंट्स, कोई भी पैसे के बारे में खुल के बात नहीं करता। नो वन टीचेस फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी इन इंडिया। There's no financial literacy in India. If you compare to the Western countries, there are concepts of pocket money, right? कि बच्चों को पॉकेट मनी पहले ही मिलने लगती है, वो 15-16 साल के होते हैं, तो दे माइट स्टार्ट वर्किंग फॉर डिलीवरी और एज अ लाइक मैकडॉनल्ड्स, बर्गर किंग वगैरह में काम करने लगते हैं। सो दे स्टार्ट अर्निंग फॉर देमसेल्व्स, दे फील फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस। सो दे नो कि यार मैं ये काम करके इतना कमा लूंगा, एंड विद दिस मनी आई कैन अर्न दिस लाइफस्टाइल in which I can party this much, I can travel this much, I can shop this much, whatever. Whereas in India, because there is no concept of pocket money, there is no concept of earning.
हाँ, मतलब वो बेइज्जती है अगर आप मैकडॉनल्ड्स में जॉब कर रहे हो तो लाइक योर फ्रेंड्स विल वंडर क्यों कर रहे हो।
हाँ, even if you forget about McDonald's, I think आजकल तो इतनी opportunities बढ़ गई हैं, right? You can just manage a social media page for someone, right? There's so many things you can do, but there is no concept of even earning or getting pocket money, right? The biggest question is how will I survive if I don't have a job when I get out? वो कॉन्फिडेंस ही नहीं आया कि यार एटलीस्ट सर्वाइवल क्वेश्चन नहीं है, जो अब्रॉड में मतलब वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में वो कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है कि सर्वाइवल क्वेश्चन नहीं है, नाउ आई नीड टू फिगर आउट व्हाट आई वांट टू डू, बिकॉज फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी नहीं है, तो डिसीजन मेकिंग और वो सब में बहुत बड़ा गैप है। सो इफ यू लुक एट मतलब आज अगर मेरे को पेरेंट बोलेगा कि नहीं 15,000 का नहीं 12,000 का ही फोन लेना है, आई डोंट रियली नो कि वो 3,000 बच के एक साल भर के लेवल पे मतलब कि फाइनेंस कैसे इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, राइट? Probably if I get my own pocket money, like saving $3,000 by cutting down my expenses on shopping and food ordering is not expensive. But at least I'll fight for what I really like. It's important for me, तो मैं उसके लिए sacrifices करूँगा।
Yeah, you learn to prioritize.
हाँ, but इंडिया में क्योंकि बचपन से ही वो डिसीजन मेकिंग में नहीं मिलता है, लाइक वो डिसीजन मेकिंग का इंडिपेंडेंस और फ्रीडम नहीं मिलता है, यू गेट फंक्शन अबाउट लिसनिंग टू योर पेरेंट्स और लिसनिंग टू एनीवन कि यार जो बताएंगे वो ही करना है, राइट? यू गेट हैंडीकैप्ड इन टेकिंग द राइट डिसीजन। सो उससे डिसीजन मेकिंग ही वी डोंट रियलाइज इट, बट इफ यू डोंट हैव दैट फ्रीडम तो वो हैंडीकैप हो जाते हो in terms of taking decisions. And that is how we were just two college students having this discussion, like on and on. हमारे ऐसे बहुत सारे perspectives थे towards this, and तब तक ऐसा नहीं था कि इस पे startup होगा. We were just like any problem we used to brainstorm on, we were just having these discussions कि इस तरीके से implication है. And अभी हम financial literacy में वहाँ तो गए नहीं कि क्रेडिट स्कोर क्या होता है या फिर इन्वेस्टमेंट कैसे करनी है, टैक्स कैसे बचाना है, राइट? दिस जस्ट कि हाउ टू लुक एट मनी, राइट? हाउ मनी इज नॉट allowing you to take the right decisions. So we were like, yeah, this is a big problem. And for us, like financial literacy और independence was not कि एक कोर्स दे देंगे तो सॉल्व हो जाएगा, किसी को नहीं चाहिए. We were like, it's more of a life skill like cooking or driving जो तुम करके ही सीखोगे, right? So we're like, let's solve for this. Like let's bring in the culture of pocket money to India. Let's build something digital जिससे parents pocket money भेजेंगे. हम हम आपको गेमिफाई कर देंगे through which the kid can learn how to save, spend, budget, invest and all of that. And कार्ड वार्ड दे देंगे through which they can spend. So उसके अराउंड हमने सोचा कि this is an interesting problem.
If you like to hear stories of founders, then we have tons of great stories from entrepreneurs who have built billion-dollar businesses. Just search for the Founder Thesis podcast on any audio streaming app like Spotify, Gaana, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the show.
But I mean, it sounds for two kids who have not even passed out yet, it sounds very super ambitious कि ऐप बना देंगे, कार्ड दे देंगे. मतलब you have zero idea कि कार्ड कैसे इशू कर सकते हो आप, बैंकिंग रिलेशनशिप, ये तो मतलब वो how did you feel कि हाँ ये करते हैं, वो कॉन्फिडेंस कैसे आया?
It's nice. I often tell this, like it's nice when you don't have a baggage of experience. Right?
Okay.
And you wouldn't believe, मतलब even after our first fundraise, we were super ambitious and super aspirational कि भाई 2 हफ्ते में लॉन्च कर देंगे प्रोडक्ट, सब देखा जाएगा, बैंकिंग पार्टनरशिप वगैरह सॉल्व कर देंगे. बट इवन नाउ इफ यू आस्क मी टुडे कि यार अब इंटरनली डिस्कशन होता है कि कोई नया प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करना है, वी हैव अ वेरी प्रैक्टिकल टाइमलाइन इन माइंड कि यार इसको तो 4-6 महीने लगेंगे, 4 से 5 महीने लगेंगे, लाइक कंसिडरिंग द how we need to improve the support, operations, product बनाने में, tech बनाने में, और उसकी marketing, launch, सब कुछ अब there's a 360 degree perspective to that. But हाँ, back then यार college में it was more about जैसे appetizer बनाया था, right? We just thought कि build an app, बना दी, लोगों ने use की, मजा आया, impact आया, तो it was like कि हाँ बनाते हैं, देख लेंगे कैसे बनाना है, किससे बात करनी है for to launch the product and all. And college में I think if it seems achievable throughout college life. Actually वो छोटे not at a startup level or a professional level, but तुम छोटे छोटे लेवल पे इतने initiatives ले चुके होते हो. At least in both of our experiences हमने ऐसी बहुत सारी चीज़ों की ownership ली, हमने कुछ सोचा कि हम ये करते हैं and हमने वो किया, right? So that gave us the confidence कि यार बना सकते हैं. And तब भी it was not more of a startup. It was like कि यार this problem connects us emotionally. We feel that okay, we'll be making an impact. तो बनाते हैं. हम बैंगलोर मूव किया हमने because last semester था, we had to figure out.
But why Bangalore? मतलब
internship बैंगलोर में की थी and we knew कि बैंगलोर में startup ecosystem है. अपने रुड़की के काफी seniors थे. From a job perspective, also like other startup founders, right? So Bangalore में पूरा ecosystem था, and being in Roorkee for 4 years, like campus में काफी अच्छा exposure था in the sense fests होते थे, there were different clubs, there were good people, सब ambitious थे, but urban cities में क्या चल रहा है उससे हम disconnect हो गए थे, right? 3-4 साल से, right? So we wanted to know कि यार actually बच्चों को क्या पता, times have changed, and coming from a small town पता भी नहीं था मुंबई बैंगलोर में क्या हो रहा है. माइंडसेट था कि यार यहाँ पे तो शायद पॉकेट मनी देते होंगे, पेरेंट्स आर मच मोर अवेयर. तो वी जस्ट थॉट कि लेट्स गो टू बैंगलोर एंड लुक एट कि क्या करना है. एंड इंटर्नशिप्स के टाइम पे एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा रहा था ऑफ द सिटी, ऑफ द होल इकोसिस्टम, सीनियर्स एंड तो गए वहाँ पे. एंड तो वी वर वेरी क्लियर कि यार कुछ भी हो, घर से तो पैसे नहीं मांगने हैं, बस वो एक चीज थी. वी डिड नॉट हैव हाई डिमांड्स कि यार अपने को इतना अभी इसी स्टेज पे इतना कमाना है या वो, बस ये था कि घर से नहीं मांगना है. and that is how we looked at money, right? It was not about money. I think in the early stage it was always about key learning more, right? And learning and growing more. And I think even today we feel there's so much to learn, right? We are just in very early stages of our startup. तो बच्चे कहाँ से मिलेंगे, तो फिर हम मॉल्स चले जाते थे एंड मॉल्स में स्मैश वैश के बाहर बच्चे मिलते थे. वी यूज्ड टू जस्ट स्टॉप देम एंड वी वर लाइक वी आर स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ आईटी रुड़की, वी आर वर्किंग ऑन अ प्रोजेक्ट एंड वुड लाइक टू इंटरव्यू फॉर 10 minutes एंड ऑल. तो डेफिनेटली बच्चों के लिए थोड़ा सा आईटी वाला फैक्टर काम करता है, तो दे वर लाइक यस 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 श्योर, दे यूज्ड टू गेट एक्साइटेड. तो वहाँ पे हमने बच्चों से बात की एंड that is where we got the golden insight. So the 90% of the kids we spoke to, none of them had bank accounts. And जितने भी बच्चों से हम बात कर रहे थे, तो all of them had smartphones. They were using internet. They were already like spending on Swiggy, Flipkart, Amazon, Ola, Uber, Netflix, right? But none of them had access to even digital payments. So we were like, कैसे पे करते हो? तो they're like कि हम कैश मांगते हैं पेरेंट्स से. We borrow their debit card or credit card. We told them, have you heard of UPI? They were like, no. Like, have you heard of Google Pay and all? So they were like, yes, yes, we have seen people scanning and paying. So हमने कहा, you don't do it. So they, no, we can't do it. Then
They don't have an account.
yes, because to link UPI ID, you need to have a bank account, right? तो उनके पास UPI नहीं था, उनके पास बैंक अकाउंट नहीं था, तो डेबिट कार्ड नहीं था. You can't get a credit card below 18. So kids told us things like कि हम 200 रुपए कैश लेके निकलते हैं रोज ट्यूशन से पहले, या फिर हमने सीक्रेट पॉकेट में एक 500 का नोट रखा हुआ है फॉर इमरजेंसी. एंड इस टाइप की प्रॉब्लम्स बताई बिट्सन, एंड वी वर लाइक शॉक्ड, वी वर सरप्राइज्ड. यार ये तो सोचा ही नहीं कि मतलब, बिकॉज इट वाज वेरी ऑब्वियस कि हाँ एवरीवन हैज एक्सेस टू डिजिटल पेमेंट्स. एंड वी स्टार्टेड रिसर्चिंग मोर, तो वी गॉट टू नो लाइक इफ यू लुक एट इंडियाज पॉपुलेशन, 40% of India's population today, around 40% is below 18. Can you imagine how big that chunk is? So whenever we are speaking about the next 500 million users on the internet, we often forget that majority of them are going to be minors. And nobody is building for them, though they are the most tech savvy audience. Like I'll give you an example. मेरी literally 2.5 years की niece है, right? She doesn't know how to read and write, but she knows कि मोबाइल में YouTube कौन सा ऐप है, YouTube पे ही जाके वीडियोस मिलेंगी. And even when she clicks, she finds the right video looking at the thumbnails, though she can't read titles. She clicks on a video, and the best part is कि उसको पता है कि ये वीडियो जो मैंने थंबनेल में देखा था ये वो नहीं है, तो ऐड आता है. She waits for 5 seconds until वहाँ पे कुछ skip
And
ad.
then next
She skips ad.
skips that, right?
Though she can't read, she doesn't know that it's an ad. She just know कि वहाँ 5 सेकंड वहाँ कुछ होगा, और फिर वहाँ जब बड़ा कुछ लिख के आएगा तो मेरे को टैप करना है. Right? That is how fast these kids adopt to technology. They're very internet first, and it was crazy that they don't have access to even digital payments. So we're like financial literacy independence तो बहुत दूर है. अभी तो इनके पास access ही नहीं है to even like digital payments and banking. But like let's solve for payments first. They're like, this is the main key problem, and on top of it we'll build on banking and all of the literacy and all of the independence things that we want to build. But ये तो clear cut pain point है. And that is how like FamPay came into picture, that okay, we are going to build a payments app for teenagers. And with that idea we applied to YC in our final semester. I think 2 महीने हो गए थे बैंगलोर में फिर. So yeah, that is when we applied to YC in our final semester through college. And I remember हमारा BTP, the BTech presentation was on 7th of May, and हमारा 9th May को YC interview था बैंगलोर में.
Okay.
So we're like,
So you got shortlisted for the interview. How much work is needed to apply for YC and actually get shortlisted? मतलब, you know, like did you really work hard and create a fancy presentation and all that? Yeah.
I think more than, definitely I wouldn't comment. Definitely idea, product, and all of that, the market that you're targeting, all of that are important factors. But what I have realized in the last 2 years on all my interactions with YC is that they focus more on founders. I think they have a good sense on दैट इज व्हाट दे बेट ऑन, बिकॉज मैंने देखा है वाईसी में हमारे ही बैच में ऐसे काफी सारे फाउंडर्स थे जिन्होंने आइडिया थ्रू द बैच दे पिवटेड.
So what made them shortlist you? Was it the IIT pedigree or what was it like?
No, I don't think it was the IIT pedigree. They were just like, they loved the energy and clarity we had for this idea.
Hmm. Well, you really thought it through. You researched on it, and
Yes, like with the limited resources that we had while being in college, and especially India, say, like if you look at our previous batches before summer 2019, you wouldn't find young founders in the YC batch as young as us. तो तब तो हमारे भी थॉट में ये था कि यार वाईसी शॉर्टलिस्ट ही हो गया, बहुत बड़ी बात है. आई रिमेम्बर हम हॉस्टल रूम से बहुत खुश थे कि यार एटलीस्ट वी हैव गॉट इनटू द इंटरव्यू स्टेज व्हिच इज लाइक द 10% of the applications, 10-15% of the applications. And now with this probably अपने को तो कोई incubator या accelerator भी मिल गया, we'll be happy. So we were not, we did not have high hopes, like to be honest, right? We were like, let's give it our best. Let's try to answer whatever questions they might have, right? So we used to just discuss कि अच्छा क्या क्या questions हो सकते हैं, like how are we different from different payments apps, what's going to be your revenue model, what's going to be, how are you going to acquire the first 10,000 customers, right? Are there any regulations, जो भी questions हो सकते हैं, we just used to think it through, and we're like, let's try to find answers to them. 2 to 3 weeks we just spent on creating list of things that people would ask us, YC would ask us. We did some mock interviews, and कहीं ना कहीं हर एक mock interview definitely कोई अलग ही direction में जाता था, right? कोई कोई competition को लेके grill करता था, तो कोई regulations को लेके करता था, तो कोई
so these were your seniors who were doing it.
seniors, YC alums, Twitter पे I think a lot of different YC alums put out their calendars, right? कि you can just book a mock interview. तो हमने काफी कुछ कुछ US founders से भी किया था और कुछ कुछ Indian founders से भी किया था. तो it was a great experience. And interview के बाद again we were not sure if our interview went really good, or they were, or we are feeling it good because they did not grill us thinking ki, okay, they're kids. So but yeah, we had a good interview. I think they were quite satisfied with what the research we had done. Yeah, we got into YC, and after that definitely there was no looking back.
So what happens once you get into YC? Like is it like a like classes and then time to work on product? क्या है वो, मतलब just help me understand.
YC, no, there are no classes. It's more of a, I would say, kind of a accelerator program.
And they give you money upfront to
Yeah.
spend on.
They give you once a year. They have a standard deal. So though they do seasonal investing, वो साल में 2 बार invest करते हैं in batches, summer and winter batch, and every startup that they invest in, they give once a year, right? Approximately. So so yeah, हमें भी यही लगा था यार कि this is like a crash course to entrepreneurship, and 2-3 महीने में ही हमें entrepreneur बना देंगे and all of that, but it's not true. वैसा कुछ नहीं होता है. It's more about just very hands-on. Whatever you're building, just build it. Whatever problem you're trying to solve, just solve it. और वाईजी हर एक स्टेज के स्टार्टअप को लेता है, एट एन आइडिया स्टेज, एट रेवेन्यू स्टेज, एट जस्ट गो टू मार्केट स्टेज, एट पीएमएफ स्टेज, राइट? सब अलग अलग स्टेजेस पे लेता है. द होल आइडिया इज कि 3 महीने का टाइम होता है, और 3 महीने बाद देयर इज समथिंग नोन एज डेमो डे. Demo day is basically where all the startups gather and all the investors gather, and every startup is given 60 to 90 seconds to pitch their idea, right? And तो वहाँ पे सिलिकॉन वैली में सारे इन्वेस्टर्स गैदर होते हैं. अब तो रिमोटली होता है. In our times it was in the Silicon Valley, and you have to pitch your idea in 90 seconds to all the investors, and whoever is interested, you can like start conversations with them and end up raising money, right? For whatever you want to build. So the whole idea is कि उन्होंने जो 1 CR दिया है, you have to utilize it in the next 3 months, राइट? एंड एवरी स्टार्टअप हैज अ डिफरेंट गोल कि हमें इतना ARR अचीव करना है, हमें इतने नंबर ऑफ यूजर्स अचीव करने हैं, या फिर हमें बस प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करना है। सबका अपना अपना गोल होता है, एंड एवरीवन हैज अ डिफरेंट गोल इन टर्म्स ऑफ वी वांट टू रेज दिस मच, वी वांट टू raise or not. So it's very subjective, case to case. So yeah, those after YC, we got to know okay, we have to actually, before demo day, we have to experiment something, validate, and all of that. So the next 3 months are more about definitely navigating through the fintech space, understanding कि actually अगर payments करानी है, how can we enable it, what are the kind of APIs we would need, किस type के partners लगेंगे, and card launch करना है तो फिर how can we get it manufactured, do we need certain licenses, certifications, right? कंपनी इनकॉर्पोरेट करनी थी, एंड काफ़ी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस होती हैं वहाँ पे कि मतलब अगर हमें बहुत हमें बहुत स्केप्टिसिज्म भी मिलता था व्हेनेवर वी यूज्ड टू स्पीक। तो मतलब कुछ ना कुछ लोग बोलते थे कि अरे इसके लिए तो तुम्हें बैंक में एटलीस्ट 15 लाख चाहिए होते, कुछ कुछ अलग अलग रूल्स होते, राइट, टू इवन मेक इट हैपन in payments and in the fintech. So yeah, it was an interesting period. In the next 2 to 3 months, the learning curve was very steep. कि हमें प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च भी करना था, मतलब हमें एक्सपेरिमेंट या वैलिडेट भी करना था, एक्सपेरिमेंट डिजाइन करके बनाना था, फिनटेक समझना था पूरा। वी हैड टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू गो अबाउट फंड रेज एंड व्हाट आर द टर्म्स एसोसिएटेड टू इट, राइट? व्हाट इज अ टर्म शीट, वो भी नहीं पता था, मतलब कॉलेज से निकले थे हम, तो हमें पता नहीं था व्हाट्स अ टर्म शीट, राइट? कंपनी इनकॉर्पोरेट करनी है, वी वुड नीड पीपल और नॉट, फ्रॉम डिजाइनिंग हर लोगो टू डिजाइनिंग वेबसाइट, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। मतलब वो 3 महीने वर लाइक आई वुड रिमेंबर एंड चेरिश इट फॉर माई लाइफ टाइम। वो 3 महीने में हमने इतनी सारी चीजें एकदम हैंड्स ऑन की हैं, it's completely unforgettable, and the first experience is always like it's always priceless, right? तो फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस हमेशा याद रहता है कि तुम मतलब अगर हायरिंग भी करनी होती है तो जेडी भी खुद लिखते हो, राइट? It's how you build everything with love. It's like your baby.
So, like you spoke to people in the industry, like your seniors and others, about to understand the space and form a strategy. Basically, these 3 months were spent in researching and forming a strategy.
Researching and also validating, like setting up the base for the company, right? By setting up the base, as in we had to validate ki, okay, this is going to work. We had to know.
So, how did you validate? Did you launch an app and a card and all that? Yeah, like, how did you validate?
We just it was a very hacky MVP through which the users could load money and they could do UPI transactions by using a payout API in the backend. तो पूरा वो पहला वर्जन कुछ नहीं डिजाइन एंड कोड किया था, very simple product, just load money and you can do UPI transaction, you can scan and pay basically, right? Which the kids could not do before. तो हमने
And ये कैसे किया? Like, how did you enable UPI transaction?
by using a payout API from one of the PGs. So they have a payout API होती है जिससे वो सीधा backend में एक IMPS transaction होता है और you can basically make a transaction.
Okay. So you like created your account like a FamPay account, and then people could load money. That money would lie in your account, and when they scanned, so it would go
Yes.
from your account to the. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Got it.
Right. So that is what we connected to the PGs. We were like, we just want to experiment. Otherwise, definitely it's a paid API and all of that. We were like, कि हमें बस experiment करना है, हमने सब जुगाड़ किया. So as I mentioned, we saved every penny possible, right? कोई भी tool भी use करना होता था, we used to try to look for how can we as a early stage startup, different investors के through कुछ ना कुछ तुम्हें मिल ही जाता है free for 3 months, 6 months. So we did all of that, and yeah, फिर उसके बाद यही हुआ कि when we launched our product in just 7 days, we got a traffic of 35,000 users.
Wow. Okay. And कैसे मतलब how did the word spread? Like, did you advertise?
No, we did not advertise at all. We in just like in just 4 to 5 days, we like kind of built an army of 5 interns, and then they like we designed a very quick brand ambassador program. Like every brand ambassador need to get five of their friends on board and all of that. And we had like 250 plus brand ambassadors in just like 3 to 4 days.
And उनको क्या मिल रहा था brand ambassador को? Like some certification, basically.
Yes. तो वो हमने we did not pay anything upfront, and हमने उसमें gamification भी थोड़ा सा किया था कि then the users who came in, if you refer a friend, you used to earn coins, and then after a certain, if let's say for every user that you refer, you used to get 18 coins, and you could use 30 coins to burn a spinner. तो वो spinner में cashback मिलता था. But it was a very very हमने इतना फटाफट वो पूरा किया, right from building that MVP to actually getting a team of interns, getting the word spread, designing posters, getting 250 brand ambassadors on board, and then expanding so quickly, and referral build करके फिर उसको भी capitalize करना, उसमें coins build करना, बहुत ही फटाफट करके, and it went crazy in just the first 7 days. And yeah, we just stopped the experiment because of course we did not expect that traffic, and उस scale के लिए हम ready भी नहीं थे, and of course तब as it was just an experiment, तब हम KYC वगैरह नहीं कर रहे थे, there was no partner bank and all of that, so we just shut down the product. But that validation helped us to definitely raise our seed round. And yeah, we raised a seed round of 4.7 million from Sequoia, Venture Highway, and Angels.
And this was on the back of the 35,000 number. Like that's a huge validation, no? 35,000 in 7 days.
Yes, so that's a great validation. I think even seed round was more about the validation that we can execute things, um, right? Because definitely हमने एक बहुत ही इंसेंटिवाइज करके हमने ब्रांड एम्बेसडर प्रोग्राम बनाया था, रेफरल्स पे वी पुट इन सम मनी एंड ऑल, दो like in $1 we used to get, I think in just $1 10 to 15 users, right? That was how cheap the acquisition was. But more than that, what it proved was कि हमने वो सब एक हफ्ते में किया. So yeah, because even
So then what next? Once those, so by this time you would have set up your company and all of that you had taken care of.
yeah, so by that time we had done that. And मतलब कॉलेज से निकल के तो लग रहा था कि जब जब 1 CR की फंडिंग मिली थी, दैट ओके दिस इज ह्यूज, राइट? 1 CR मिल गया है, एंड फॉर अ कॉलेज स्टूडेंट इट वाज लाइक इसमें तो बहुत कुछ कर लेंगे. But in the first 3 months only we realized, okay, like before our fundraise, that it would be nothing if you want to build a big company, because even if you want to get 2 to 3 good engineers, they would take up 30 lakhs as a salary at the minimum, right? So बाकी चीजें कब करोगे? You have a lot of cost of tech, cost of human resource, marketing, and getting your cards manufactured, so many things. So the first thing we did was, of course, we shut down our first product, our MVP, and then, like, now we have to build it with all the compliance in mind, figure out the regulations, get the partner banks, and all of that. We started building the team. We reached out to all our friends from IIT Roorkee. Um, so so I told you about Appetizer, right? So in the campus there was a group called Mobile Development Group. It's called MDG, and Kush, Chirag, and like Harjot were part of that group, right? So the appetizer that was developed, it was developed by Chirag and Harjot. So we had worked on that product together, and Kush had like was 100% key sure कि we have to bring them on board. So yeah, we just got them in, and then we started building the product, started building the team, started figuring out how to go about launching the product and all of that. And yeah, by Feb 2020, everything was ready, and we had the first version that could go out. We had a good go-to-market strategy aligned. We were planning to go.
Tell me details now. What was product version 1? Like what all did it include?
It included like getting your own card, right? Getting your own scan and pay functionality, and then doing peer-to-peer payments, right? So it's like a full stack payments app for kids. And but unlike other wallets or UPI apps, it was more about giving them a complete banking experience कि तुम्हें एक बैंक के साथ UPI आईडी मिलती है, तुम्हें एक कार्ड मिलता है. तो like we won't make them feel like a payments app. We'll give them a card and scan and pay functionality. So so yeah,
They can see the balance and all that. Like parents can transfer money and they can see the balance.
yes. So complete independence there, and you're planning to go live in April right after the board exams.
इसमें money कैसे load होगा? Like let's say you got kids to download the app. How would they take money from their parents?
So the parents can send money directly to their kids' account. They can download the app themselves, right? They have their own view. So yeah, parent and kid both are part of the onboarding process.
Okay. And parents could also do like a UPI transfer to the kid and stuff like that.
Correct. Right. So that was the first version, and but COVID आ गया, सब schools बंद हो गए, manufacturing plants बंद हो गए, and there was a complete lockdown and बहुत uncertainty थी कि COVID कब तक रहेगा and all of that. So yeah, we were like, let's not launch the product right now. We might end up investing a lot of money in growth and may not get the right ROI, right?
And how big was your team then? Like
6-7 members.
okay, most of them from IITs, like your batchmates or
Yes, most of them. Like the six of us, we call them the founding team. So yeah, the founding team was there. Me and Kush were there. That six of us, and there were a couple of more engineers who had just recently joined. I think it hadn't even been 2 months. It was a very small team, maybe 4 to 5 interns. Apart from that, so yeah, we were like, let's hold on. Let's look at how the spending patterns are changing, how people are adopting to COVID, if schools are opening or not, and all of that. तो फिर हमने 2-3 महीना अच्छे से सर्वे किया, रिसर्च की. We realigned our go-to-market to more online fashion, and yeah, in finally last year in August, I think it was around the same time we might uh, have launched a product. So last year in August, we finally went live, and the journey has been amazing. After that, very crazy. In the first 8 to 10 months, we were growing like 100% month on month, and
and card was free. Yeah, they had to pay for the card.
in the first month for the first 1,000 users, it was free.
Okay. So that was your growth hack basically, like your go to market strategy to give the card free. वो card देखकर ही लोग मतलब curious होंगे.
Correct. That excited them. That made them feel like an owner, because it's like it's the first card in their life, right? So it's like first bicycle or first phone. It makes them
And
feel like
उसमें उसका नाम छप के आता है, like personalized with their name.
it's personalized. And also हमने we launched India's first numberless card.
So why numberless? मतलब would that be a problem? आपको e-commerce transaction करनी है अगर, तो वो number तो डालना ही पड़ता है.
तो number app में होता है. So what we did was we were just brainstorming. It started as a design problem. So when we were designing the card, we were trying to place the numbers on the card on the front and the back, and कहीं पे भी डालो तो card का look खराब हो रहा था. And it just started from that conversation. What if we just remove the numbers तो card कितना clean लग रहा है. And when we started thinking about it, taking it seriously, that even from a security perspective, it takes security to a whole new level, because if the kid is losing the card, no one gets access to the CVV, expiry, or anything. And in any case, when you're shopping offline, you're swiping the card, तुम्हें pin enter करना पड़ता है. You don't need the numbers to be on the card.
Yeah. This is what you were talking about, that the advantage of doing something without experience.
Correct. And so that naivety, right? It acts in your favor. Being naive helps you to be unconventional and to not accept things कि अच्छा कार्ड में तो नंबर होंगे ही. And you're like, यार अगर मैं अपना बिहेवियर भी देखूं ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग का, I usually don't have my card handy. I have to go to my wallet. मेरे बैग में होता है, वॉलेट निकाल के लाओ, कार्ड का नंबर देख के टाइप करो.
हाँ हाँ, नहीं तो लाइक फोटो खींच के, हाँ जैसे मैं फोटो खींच के रखता हूँ, मुझे जब कार्ड यूज करना होता है तो मैं पहले फोटो खोजता हूँ और फिर उसे एंटर करता हूँ.
Ultimately, you also prefer कि फोन में ही रहे कार्ड की डिटेल, because phone is handy, right? So like कि why not put the card details on the app and physical card से हटा दें, right? It's much more convenient, it's much more secure, and third, it's much more cool. Like our card is super cool. And फोर्थ इज बच्चे को नहीं पता होता कि ये सब इंफॉर्मेशन सेंसिटिव है. इतने बच्चों ने इंस्टाग्राम पे अपने कार्ड की फोटो खींच के डाली है, एंड दे डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट लाइक डिस्क्लोजिंग द नंबर्स टू एनीवन बिकॉज कार्ड में नंबर्स ही नहीं है. बट बच्चों को फ्लॉन्ट करना होता है, राइट, कि मैंने कार्ड ले लिया, मेरा खुद का कार्ड है. If you go and search FamPay on YouTube, you'll see a lot of unboxing videos by kids organically. So we knew if we want to attract kids to this product, it has to be sexy, it has to be aspirational, it has to be cool, right? So we knew कि हमें brand और product तो बहुत ही quality बनाना पड़ेगा, because these are the kids who from day one have been using YouTube, Netflix, Instagram. It's a very different generation, तो उनको already इतने quality products का access है. They can immediately tell which is a poor built product, कहाँ पे उनका experience break हो रहा है, right? And also we had to beat the banks, of course, right? Banks for kids, or at least the mindset that kids had regarding banks or payments app, they find it very boring. Ki, no, I don't want to do banking and all. It's very serious for them. So we had to make it cool. We had to make it fun, right? It's simple.
So, how long did it take you to get the first 1,000 with all these hacks like the unboxing friendly and the influencers outreach?
I think we hit the first 1,000 in first 4 to 6 weeks only. It took us 4 to 6 weeks.
And how tedious was the KYC and all, like to get the first money into your account?
I think that's a bit tedious. I think that's a challenge for all the fintechs. KYC brings certain drop off in the journey because people are lazy to do it. They're just like, okay, बाद में करूँगा. And document क्यों मांग रहे? People take it much more seriously कि why are they asking for my document? Is it secure or not? So I think crossing that,
मतलब बच्चों के पास कुछ ज्यादा डॉक्यूमेंट तो होती नहीं है ना.
आधार होता है.
आधार, ओके.
एंड इवन बट पेरेंट्स की भी केवाईसी करने होते हैं, तो जब वो पेरेंट के पास जाते हैं तो टू बिल्ड दैट ट्रस्ट, राइट, कि बच्चा ये क्या मांग रहा है. किसी बच्चे ने आज तक पेरेंट को जाके ऐसे हुआ नहीं है इंडिया में कि दे आर लाइक कि मेरे को बैंक अकाउंट खोलना है या मेरे को मेरा कार्ड चाहिए. इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल इवन इन इंडिया. लाइक बच्चा ये क्यों मांग रहा है, कहीं पे कोई स्कैम हो रहा होगा. पेरेंट्स डोंट ट्रस्ट राइट अवे, राइट. So yeah, that's a bit tedious, the whole KYC and getting the first code, getting the first transaction.
So this 4 to 6 weeks for getting 1,000 in, these were like 1,000 people who finished the KYC. And
Yeah. Who started using
money,
the product for transacting.
Okay. Okay. And from that 1,000, how did it grow?
It was, as I mentioned, it was growing like 100% month on month.
So like September you had 1,000, like August you launched, then like 2,000, 4,000, like that was the trajectory.
Yes. It was multiplying. Like in certain months, like average was 100%, but in certain months we hit 3x, 4x, and काफी fast था.
अभी कितने हैं active users? Like
so, we have more than 2 million registered users already on the platform.
So, but registered user is someone who's downloaded or signed up the app but not done the KYC.
Correct.
Then tell me about the next fundraise. Like that's the next milestone in the journey, right?
Yes. So we recently closed our Series A. We raised 38 million from Elevation, Sequoia, and a few other investors. So I think we started having the first conversations in February or March, and we were very sure by the end of December that okay, we have hit PMF, this product has a great product market fit, and people want it, right? We were seeing a good number of kids using it regularly. We were seeing a good retention. The volumes were growing great. The growth rate was also crazy. The kind of feedback we were getting from the users, how they were putting in unboxing videos, the kind of pictures they were putting on Instagram stories and all. काफी सारे signals थे. It combined. We were very sure. Okay, now this we have hit PMF. Now it's about scaling this. Um, and that is when we started to have the conversations and
And this was again inbound, like the VCs were already aware of you, and
yeah, I think मतलब वो तो पहले से ही connected थे हम after YC, तो we kept on chatting throughout the last couple of years. बातें होती रहती थी, chat हो रही थी, कभी हमें कोई help चाहिए होती थी तो we used to ping. um, and even if those investors were not on our cap table, I think कुछ ना कुछ बात चलती रहती थी, right? So they were aware about the progress and everything, and it just naturally happened. We started having the conversations, and yeah, that is what triggered our Series A, and we just closed it about 1.5 months back, or 2 months back, yeah, a couple of months.
huh. And which I think is the third largest Series A ever done in India, right? Like $39 million.
Yeah, it's $38 million.
$38 million.
Yes,
Huh.
yes.
Which is like, I mean, it's like such a massive achievement for someone so young.
Yeah, we did not know that it's like one of the largest Series A, and like we were also reading some article. उसमें वो लिखा था कि it's largest by first time entrepreneurs or so, definitely like it's a great milestone. Uh, uh,
What made it happen? Like what do you think? What contributed to such a massive Series A?
everything, everything. I would say everything, like the product, the growth, the team, the kind of energy the team has, how we have executed things, the our marketing brand.
What was your team by like by the end of last year, like 2020 December, Jan 21?
It was small. I think 30-35 members. So yeah.
And these were like either tech or marketing.
Yes, correct. So, so the kind of thing, the kind of growth and the things we pulled off with such a small team, with the kind of like expenses and the kind of PNL we had, I think everything contributed to this, and it's a very new market, right? As I mentioned, nobody else is building for teenagers. If you look at all the products in the market today, everyone is focusing on adults, and if you have to build for teenagers, I think the approach has to be very different. अभी तक अगर कोई और teenagers के लिए product भी है तो mostly they end up targeting parents, right? Um, that wouldn't work because बच्चों का generation बहुत change हो चुका है. Like in our times we used to ask for probably remote control cars and get happy. बट आजकल बच्चे ग्रीन स्क्रीन मांगते हैं अपने पेरेंट्स से. दे आर लाइक मेरे को एक माइक सेटअप दे दो, मेरे को पॉडकास्ट खोलना है अपना. And it's the next big market because every year millions of kids will get their first smartphone, and it's basically we are tapping the future adults, right? So yeah.
So okay, I want to understand what is the business model that when you were doing those discussions with VCs for the Series A, obviously you had to show them the how you will make money. So what is that?
So currently we earn through two ways. So the card that is given, it's for every sale of card, it's not given for free, right?
Okay. Okay.
And second is,
What do you charge for the card?
so we just launched a new set of cards. We again launched something very new. We launched India's first doodle numberless card with Visa, and it's called Fam Card Me. So, so we have two segments of card. It's one is Fam Card and one is Fam Card Me. So the Fam Card Me is more premium version, doodled, highly personalized, where kids can design their own card with choice of their doodles on it. Um, so that card is charged at 1,000 for a one-time fee, and the normal FAM card is charged at 500, right? So we earn on that, and secondly, for every card transaction, we earn interchange. All right, right. So those are the two ways we are earning right now.
Uh, ठीक है. So, these are your current offering is essentially like a bank account substitute for teenagers, right? And what is in your product roadmap now? Like, what else do you plan to add? Because as teenagers grow and become adults and take up their first jobs, then obviously you would want to be with them throughout the journey, no?
Yeah, so that's the exact thing which I think you were asking, right? What's the roadmap? Even the investors were asking, and this is the most exciting part that um, we are not looking at losing the customers like once they turn 18, and the idea is to grow as our users grow, right? And so there will be a lot of interesting things that we'll be launching in the next 12 to 18 months for that cohort of users who graduate into becoming an adult. So yeah, let's keep it a surprise. There is a lot of uh,
That's
exciting things that
okay.
we are planning.
So, what's like I mean, long termish view, like say by 2030, where do you see FAMPay? By that time, so we don't need to go into detailed stuff, but more broad, big picture view of where do you think FAMPay will be by 2030?
The big picture, I think, the big picture is that we want to be that the whole financial ecosystem for the Gen Z, right?
Like a bank replacement, like say ICICI Bank ke badle, I have an account with FAMPay, which has everything which I need over there.
Yeah, we would want to be the one stop solution for for them, that all their demands are met through us. Um, but of course, that's very far. In 10 years, we are more focused towards our mission, right? That how do we take the Gen Z one step closer to financial independence and financial literacy? So a lot of our decisions would be driven by that.
And what do you plan to use these funds for? Like headcount increase or like marketing spend or what?
So definitely, like investing in growth, like growing from here, whatever our milestones are for the next 12 months, um, and getting the right resource. We'll be hiring and expanding the team quite extensively in the next 3 to 4 months. We have already started like hiring. So so yeah, like hiring, growth, and even like launching the new products, we are investing some money there. But majority of the cost is going to be definitely investing on growth and marketing and hiring.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. How big is your team now?
We are close to 50, 55 full-time members and 20 interns, close to 20.
What do you see it by end of year? Like,
Um, Depends, yeah. I think we are looking at for the next 3 to 4 months, we are at least looking at 25 to 30 more hires across different functions.
so how are you building up the organization? Like what is your like? Are you building it as a remote company, or you want to build it as a company with a office-based culture, or I want to like understand your thinking on building FAMPay's organization structure.
Yeah, we are still fighting or arguing on whether we want to be a remote first company or a office first, and there are both perspectives to it. तो टीम में हमेशा काफी हेल्दी डिबेट होता है कि ऑफिस खोलना है नहीं खोलना है या रिमोट रखना है. So we are figuring out a middle way where, right, like in a year we would do kind of a 3 month vacation for everyone at a location कि पूरी टीम आएगी 3 महीना साथ में काम करेगी, and the rest of the year it can be remote or however you want. You can just spend 3 months at home and come back. We'll always have the office open, but it's not mandatory, at least for the next 6 months. Um, so yeah, but it's subject to change. We are still deciding on how to go about it.
Mm-hmm. And like in terms of your people strategy, like what kind of people are you looking to hire, and are you looking at a flat organization, or like how will you say if you hit a head count of 100 people, how do you think you'll manage that? And
Yeah, I think we have had this discussion internally, both me and Kush. We feel that we'll let it evolve for the time being. I think it's every startup has its own unique org structure and way of operating, and we feel it's not about titles that define. It's more on the way how you operate, right? Um, so we are giving it time. It depends on the kind of people we hire and कैसे सब functions evolve होते हैं. So we let it evolve, and it's more about just creating a culture. We are more focusing on creating a healthy culture where everyone has certain freedom, certain ownership, certain accountability, right? um, it's more about creating that healthy work environment with the right freedom and ownership, less about org structure. We are letting it evolve on its own. We have spoken to a lot of founders, and every company to some extent has a very unique org structure.
right. Okay. So my last question to you: by when do you think you'll become a unicorn, or is that something that you don't think about?
Like honestly, like we don't look at a time frame for that, right? We have other milestones in our head. I think becoming a unicorn is more like a outcome or a byproduct of our growth. So we are trying to chase the kind of milestones we have planned. We want to reach X number of active users or this Y volume, right? But yeah, it's never for कि यूनिकॉर्न बनना है तो फटाफट करते हैं. It's more about chasing that growth, and chasing our mission. Yeah, so very less conversations even between me and Kush or within the team on यूनिकॉर्न कब बनेंगे and all of that. कभी कभी बस वही अभी फंड रेज हुआ था तो मजाक में obviously the team brings it up, but it's like more or less always comes up as a joke, but we don't discuss it.
I wish I could tell you all to go and download the FamPay app right now, but it's restricted to only people who are 19 years or younger. And I'm sure a lot of you out there would not qualify. But do tell your younger relatives and friends about it, and I'm sure they will thank you for it.
If you like the Founder Thesis podcast, then do check out our other shows on subjects like marketing, technology, career advice, books, and drama. Visit thepodium.in, that is thepodium.in, for a complete list of all our shows.
This episode of Founder Thesis Podcast is brought to you by Long Haul Ventures. Long Haul Ventures is the long haul partner for founders and startups that are building for the long haul. More about them is at www.longhaulventures.com.